I was recently walking with a friend of mine, and I said to him, quite frankly, to be honest with you, really the only reason I have to live and the only reason why I continue to live is for the sake of my children and my grandchildren. And he said back to me, yeah, that's wonderful, and I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, we have to be able to live for ourselves. And that's something that you have to be able to incorporate. And I thought about it, and I do agree with him, and I understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, I go back to what I began with, and that is, I do live, essentially, for the sake of perpetuating a legacy, nurturing a relationship, and furthering an understanding and a rapport with my children and grandchildren. And I believe that this is something that is all worth living for, and really the main pivotal reason why we continue to live. One of the things that Rabbi Jonathan Sachs points out is the difference between history and remembering. History is when we reflect upon something that is long past. It's an event that happened, and it's not necessarily something that we still incorporate into our everyday being. But when we are in charge to remember, lizkor, we are implementing and we are infusing and in charging ourselves with an action to incorporate not only that happened in the past, but that which happened in the past into our present. That is what it means to remember. Yom HaZikaron, lizkor, to remember for the sake of perpetuating a future, for the sake of learning how to infuse a greater energy and a lesson from the past in order to be able to continue in the future. This week's Torah portion of Parshat Tazria talks about the birth of children at the very beginning. And there's a very famous medrash which says that when Aaron HaKohen, when Aaron learned about the death of his two sons, it says, Vayidom Aaron. He is completely and utterly silent. He cannot respond. The medrash says, Haya lo lomar isha ki tazria v'yalda lo zachar. He should have said, and quoted the first pasuk of this week's Torah portion, when a woman gives birth to a babe, to a male child. What does that mean? That's what Aaron should have said? And I think what the Medrash is coming to teach us is, yes, our response to death is we will rebuild, we will regenerate, and we will continue to perpetuate and to nurture this world with more children and with more generations and with a legacy for our future. That is what we have to lizkor, to remember. Isha ki tazria v'yalda lo zachar. We are always in the mode of furthering, regardless of what happens to us, to understand that we will perpetuate a legacy based on our future, our children, our grandchildren, and more generations. Shabbat shalom.